Hi, Marcus.
Hey, how are you, Diego?
Good. Just I think Ari is about to join.
Okay.
Oh, it
Let-
says she requested.
Hi.
Hey, Ariana, how are you?
Good, good. How are you, Marcus?
Good, outstanding. Looks like I got both of you on, so I'm getting good at this.
Yes, yes. First of all, we are so excited to interview you. My name is Ariana. I go by the Progressive Brat. But I am also a Iranian American, and I'm also a Muslim American as well. So I just wanted to start this off by really thanking you for running and challenging Marjorie because she's really just so detrimental towards the community that I'm from. But we want to really start this. We have 30 minutes, so we want to like stick to the T. We want to be able to ask all of our questions. But 30-second elevator pitch. Tell us, introduce yourself. Who are you? Who's Marcus?
Well, I am Marcus Flowers, proud U.S. Army veteran and Democrat who's running for Congress against Taylor Greene here in Georgia. 14th District. I was born in Troy, Alabama, which is also the birthplace of John Lewis, civil rights icon, and my idol. Um, Joined the Army at 18 years old, and I then swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. And that's what I've been doing for the last almost 30 years, ever since I swore that oath at 18, as a soldier, a defense contractor, and a government official for the Department of Defense. You know, why I'm in this race, it really boils down to the events of January 6th, watching police officers being beaten with an American flag, Confederate battle being paraded through our capital, Confederate battle being paraded through our capital, Uganda, and knowing that my congresswoman was a part of that insurrection. The very next day, I resigned my post as a government official to run for Congress against Marjorie Taylor Greene. And it looks like we've lost Ariana.
I don't.
Yeah, sorry. People were saying that my screen was giving them epilepsy, so I thought I'd come in and. Sorry, go on.
Okay.
Go on. Sorry about that.
It's still. Should I still go on?
Yeah, just go on. Keep going on.
Well, my name is Diego Rojas. I live in Florida's 1st District, which is Matt District. I am a Hispanic American, first generation in one side of my family. But yeah, we're glad to have you here today. My first question is, what are the main issues facing Georgians right now?
I mean, there's so many issues that are facing not only our district and our communities here, but the country as a whole. Now, I get out and I talk to people every day. I talk to our local leaders. I talk to mayors, city council members, board of education members, and also knock doors and talk to the voters. And I don't always know if I'm talking to a Republican, Democrat, or an independent. We don't always have that information.
Right.
But across, the issues that people talk to me about, jobs in the economy, they talk about inflation, they talk about education. A big issue that I hear a lot at the doors is housing and affordable housing in our district. I hear that from people from all different age ranges.
Right.
Young people, yourself, people who are almost my age. Those are the big issues. I also talk about voting rights. People are aware of what's going on in our state with voter suppression law. People are worried about that, and rightfully so. And so we have those tough conversations at the door in the city council meetings, with the local leaders, church leaders, like the officials here in our district. These are the issues, like the issues across America that we're facing here.
I 100% agree with you. I mean, the problems in not only Georgia's 14th, but the problems in this country are endless. And that is why we need a strong progressive Democrat like you to swap places with Marjorie Taylor Greene and finally give Georgia 14 a voice.
That's the thing. It's about working to get things done, fighting
Mm.
for working people here in our district.
Right.
That's what I've been doing. Not going up to Washington, pick fights like Marjorie Taylor Greene does, fighting for people. There's a difference picking a fight, with whoever, whether it's AOC, whether it's Nancy Pelosi, or any other Democrat that you can think of that she's picked a fight with just for the sake of fighting.
Right.
These are things that I don't want to do. I want to work on the issues, focus on what it is that we need in our community and in the
Right.
fight for jobs, fight for school, so that our kids fight for affordable housing and throughout the nation.
Right.
Yeah,
Ari.
well, yeah. Thank you for that. So first of all, where's the cowboy hat? I'm sorry. I wanted to see the cowboy hat.
I'm inside in my office. I keep the hat upstairs.
Okay.
My office. Right now, I don't have it with me, but I'm always inside.
I love that
The next
about
time
you.
I'll wear the hat for the
It's such a staple, honestly. I love the hat and your dog too. Just such a great image, honestly. But going on to the next question. So Georgia's 14th district was historically and has been solid red for many years now, as we know. And how will you be able to flip that? And how will you be able to keep it blue? I mean, I feel like that's going to be an uphill battle. What is your plan to tackle that?
well, I consider myself, I always have, as a bridge builder. Again, as I alluded to earlier, we're getting out and we're having those tough conversations with people. We're talking about the things that people care about, those kitchen table issues. We're talking about jobs and the economy. We're talking about inflation, talking about, the price of food, the price that they pay at the pump, about all of those things that actually matter to the people here in Georgia. And let me tell you something about Georgia's force. In all of my travels, I've traveled all throughout the district, talked to many, many people. Almost to a person, they are embarrassed by Marjorie Taylor Greene. One of the things people don't understand about the people here in Northwest Georgia is that they're kind, generous, and caring people. And I get why the rest of America doubts that.
Right.
Because look at the representative that we sent to Washington, D.C. But another thing we also don't know is that Marjorie Taylor Greene ran unopposed in the last election.
It's very true. Yeah.
People did. This time they will have a choice.
Yeah.
And that choice is going to be between the chaos that Marjorie Taylor Greene brings to Washington, D.C. every day and the embarrassment, or between someone who will fight for them, will fight for the things that we need to get done in this district and deliver. That's going to be their choice. Another thing that we also know is because of redistricting, this district got a lot bluer. Because we brought in parts of Metro Atlanta. So it's a totally different landscape from 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did research on that, and it said on 538 that it went 10 points bluer. So that's good. But bringing that to my next.
Diego, before you start, I just want to say one thing. Also, Marjorie is not from that district as well, right? Like she moved there and she ran unopposed, from my understanding.
That is correct.
Okay, got it. Diego, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. So my next question is, if you were representing Georgia's 14th in January during when they passed Build Back Better, would you have voted yes on that
Bill,
bill?
the infrastructure bill. Oh, I absolutely would have
Mm-hmm.
voted in favor of the infrastructure bill and in favor of Build Back.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, at the end of the day, we have, and not just in this district, but across the country, we have crumbling infrastructure. I mean, we just saw a few days ago a bridge collapse in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
How many failing bridges are there throughout our country? There
Right.
are failing bridges here in our district. We have
Mm-hmm.
roads. But more importantly, that's jobs. That's putting food on people's tables. That's keeping a roof over people's heads. These are the things that are important in our district. Rural broadband is something that we definitely need. That's part of the infrastructure package. And why do we need that? Why do I always talk about how important that is? We need that so that our kids don't get left behind in school. But
Mm-hmm.
more importantly, it will attract larger businesses to our communities. Let's face it, companies aren't going to come here if we don't have reliable internet.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. That brings money into our district. That brings families into our district who will work in our district
Right.
so that we can have money for schools. These are things that are important for the things that we talk about. And Marjorie Taylor Greene voted against the infrastructure bill. So she basically voted against bringing money into our district, fixing our crumbling, and providing more jobs.
Yeah.
This is absolutely something that I would.
Yeah. I mean, the infrastructure I see in this country, some of it is comparable to infrastructure in third world countries, and it's depressing to see that, this country makes a lot of money, obviously, every single year, and we can't even fix potholes. Like I mean, it's a disgrace.
We can do it. We just have goodwill. I mean,
Mm.
how many election cycles have we talked about infrastructure, getting things
Yeah,
done for
yeah,
infrastructure, big promises? Well, now we finally got an infrastructure. You
yeah.
know, when you say some of our infrastructure in our country is comparable to third world countries, I can vouch for that. I've been to 46 different countries. Several of them are third world countries. And yes, you are absolutely correct in your assessment that some of it is comparable to third world countries.
Mm-hmm.
We do better than that.
Yeah.
We can do better than that. We must do better.
Right.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I mean, infrastructure is heavily lacking in our country, and like people like to say, we're a third world country wrapped in a Gucci belt. So, infrastructure
Right.
bill would help with that. But going on to our next question, yeah, going on to
Heard
our
that one
next
before.
yeah, it's actually very funny and relevant, to be honest. But going on to our next question, I kind of want to pivot the conversation into abortion and women's rights. We know that's a huge conversation right now, and abortion rights in America is currently at stake in many countries, especially, or not, excuse me, in many states, especially the states in the South, and Georgia is one of them. um do you support women's rights to choose, and what will you do to really support women essentially when you are placed in office?
Let's frame that question in a bit of a different way. I absolutely support a woman's right to choose, but at the same time, I respect the sincerity of those who are pro-life.
Mm.
I think when it comes to abortion, it's not just a black and white thing. This is a women's health issue. I
Mm-hmm.
think between a woman and her doctor, family, and if you're a believer in with your church leaders or your leaders at the mosque, I think that's between a woman, her family, her doctor, and it's no one else's business. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you look at the flip side of that, what would a government mandated pregnancy look like? Because that's what it is. When you take away a woman's choice, you're basically mandating pregnancy for women who may have been raped or incest. These are things, some of these bills, are not taking that into account. I think that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think very early in the campaign said, yes, I am pro-choice. I believe in a woman's right to choose, and I will do everything to defend a woman's right to choose.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that's
think
good.
that. Yeah, sorry, Diego. I don't mean to cut you
Oh.
off.
It's delayed, so I keep cutting you off. I I'm sorry.
No. It's
No, that's okay.
Diego and I's first time tag teaming, so just bear with us. But yeah, I think that's amazing, and I think recognizing that there are both sides and both sides are valid in their own way, is important. But also acknowledging that women's rights is also a health issue, is also important. So thank you for that response, Diego. You can go ahead.
I just wanted to say also this, because I forgot to address it in the beginning of the live, but we are not taking questions from the comments. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
But anyways, as a veteran yourself, how can the government better support veterans?
That's an interesting and broad question. As a
Yeah, that's
served
true.
heard, ever since I young soldier, and I always appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
As most veterans do, we appreciate here. But at the same time, having been injured as a result of my work and having to go through the Veterans Affairs for claims for injuries that I sustained during my service to the country, that process was extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And, for veterans like myself who live in rural areas where you don't have a lot of VA hospitals or a lot of the same healthcare that they have in some of the larger cities closer to the VA hospitals, that
Mm-hmm.
compounds that difficulty. Having gone through that process and understanding how it works and knowing other veterans who are still going through it. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with, a friend of mine today who's been out of the Army for a while, and he was talking about going through the process still. Wow, you're still going through it right now. We got to do better. We can and we must do better.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's one of the things I would like to work on because it's a personal issue for me.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure that we take care of our veterans, not only our veterans, but our seniors, making sure that they get the quality health care that they need, that their injuries are attended to. You shouldn't have to wait years and years to get the care that you need as a veteran who's suffered injuries like myself.
Mm-hmm.
With anyone to get that done, make sure that here and in a timely. These are the things that I want for
Right.
elected to Congress.
Right. It's sometimes when I go out in public and, there's a man in a uniform, saying that he's homeless and, it's depressing to see, and I just think to myself all the time, there should not be one homeless person that has fought and risked their lives for our country.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. We can and we must take care.
Right.
We've seen it here in Georgia. We've seen it here in this district.
Mm-hmm.
Homelessness is a problem all on its own, but then when you compound that with veterans who are homeless, because of
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, maybe they're dealing with some mental health issues or some PTSD or some traumas, that, were a result of their service to the country. We have
Mm-hmm.
to take. I think that's not a partisan issue. We all think and we can get work done there. It's time to get it done.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the least that we can do is treat our veterans fairly, right? I mean, that's literally the least we could do for them, putting their lives in front of the line for Americans as well. So, um, very, very happy that.
When you swear that oath, you're basically signing a blank check.
Yeah.
that's paid up to one's life. You sign that blank check to the company, and you know what you're signing up for right away. And, you know, so many times that checks come due for our men and women who've served this country. And we owe it to been hurt, you know, as a result of their service to take care, make sure that to make sure any mental health needs are addressed, and to definitely make sure that none of our veterans. These are things that we can, not just with the VA, but with the housing secretary, and you know, make sure our veterans get training after the military so that they can go into good jobs. These are those are all things, issues that I want to tackle head on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, for the amount of money that we spent on the budget bill this year on military budget alone, sure there's some money that they can allot aside as well, but very excited because when you get elected in, yeah, when you get elected in, you can fight for that.
Yeah.
And you know, having worked for the government my entire career, almost 30 years, I've been around the different colors of money, and that's one of the things that you learn about. And having been someone who has helped put money back into the Treasury and fought against fraud, waste, and abuse my entire career, I know that there are funds there that we give our veterans. I know this for a fact.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, there absolutely is. So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit and talk about something else going on in mainstream media right now, which is you know, members of Congress trading stock. Marcus, I would love to hear your opinion. Do you support members of Congress trading stocks?
Well, the short answer is no. Let's just take Marjorie Taylor Greene, for my opponent, who, you know, has pushed all kinds of COVID conspiracy theories, talked about not being vaccinated, bragged about that. Her lies have literally cost a lot, not only in our throughout.
Right.
She and a lot of other our politicians find out that trading stocks on the vaccines or the vaccine companies profiting from, you know, that's like adding insult to injury.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and I feel like there's something that could be against the law. I think in normal circles they call that insider trading because you got some information from somewhere that helped you. Now we've seen this story told several times, and every time, you know, we hear about an ethics violation, we the members get a slap on the wrist. Nothing can be definitively proven. But very any member of Congress that has stock, they all go into a blind trust, or you don't trade stock at all. I don't trade stock. Trading the stock market, I don't play in it. It's something that I do, but I'm for things like that. But as a member of Congress, someone who's privy to maybe classified information or information that the rest of the public's not privy to, you shouldn't be trading on that information.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, as a veteran as well, I mean, I'm sure you know about, you know, different stocks being passed and traded along that also directly impacts those trade, you know, the military and whether we end up in certain different wars and stuff like that. So I'm actually, your response makes me happy because I think this would resolve a lot of issues if Congress trading stopped, you know. But Diego, go ahead. Yeah.
Even if it just cleans up the perception of
Yeah.
an impropriety, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Those are my.
Absolutely.
So my next question is, you know, obviously, you know that you have some more competition other than Marjorie Taylor Greene in the Democratic Party. So why do you think that you are the best? You are the best person to go up against.
Well, at the end of the day, it's about viability. I've served this country for almost 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, being a soldier, having been a defense contractor, having been a government official, I've always considered myself apolitical. But I told you before, I'm a bridge builder by nature, who I am. And I also enjoy going out, meeting with people and meeting them where they are, having those.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that, but at the same time, it's all about delivering for people. You know, having come up in that system, I know how it works. I've worked in my entire career. I've sent up reports to Congress, know what they're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who can provide that guidance and oversight. I'm that person who's been there and seen it all.
Mm-hmm.
No one else in this campaign has the same, can speak with the same type of authority that I. But at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, about going to the right places, doing the right things, and delivering for the people. And it's also about viability. Fortunately, it takes money to run $1 million from over 200,000 individual contributors. Our opponents in the primary, we've outraised them combined by a factor of 12 to 1. That's how
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be able to get out and communicate our message to the people of Georgia. That's how we're going to be able to go up on the Atlanta television market, Chattanooga television market, and push back against Greene, who has a huge war chest.
Mm-hmm.
No one else in this primary can do that. I'm the only candidate
Right.
going to be able to do that.
Yeah. I think it is, especially in this race, it's important to have someone who can beat her. And,
Mm-hmm.
the person who has the most chances of beating her,
So you.
especially with a person like her who's racist and homophobic and, harassed a school shooting survivor on the street. I think it is really important that we have a strong challenger for her,
Mm-hmm.
someone who can
Well,
beat her.
yeah, and it's again, it's about the viability. She's going to be able. She's got a huge war chest. She's going to be able to go up on television and spread all kinds of hate and conspiracy theories and tell all kinds of lies about the Democratic opponent. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
able to push back on that.
Yeah.
There's no way that we'll be able to do that.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
feel that I'm the best candidate because I've been there. I've worked for this country my entire career, served honorably, and I'll continue that service in Congress. I will bring honor, respect, decency, and integrity back to.
Yeah, yeah. Marcus, we're coming up on time, and I know you're tight on schedule, but first of all, when is your primary election, your general as well, and where can people find your platform online? How can we advocate for you? Really, show us the ways in the last 2 minutes that we have.
Well, let me tell you, right behind me is my website, www.marcus4georgia.com, all spelled out. And on that website, you can donate to our campaign. We also have a volunteer tab where you can go in. We have needs for phone bankings. We're taking interns right now to help us out on the campaign. People who want to go out in the district and knock on doors. Um, we're taking on as many volunteers as we're building an army of organizers
Hmm.
to be
Hmm.
able to go out, get our message out in this district. We're going to knock 100,000 doors, all even more people than that. Those are great ways to volunteer. Also on the website, we have events, an events calendar. I do a I do a town hall via Zoom once a month. And to answer your question about some important dates, let me give them to you. May 24th is the primary election day. March 7th is going to be the first day that you can apply for an absentee ballot.
Hmm.
April 5th is the earliest absentee ballots can be sent in. And then we've got April 25th is the last day to register to vote to be eligible for the primary. Um, and there's a few more dates in there. And then June 10th is the last day to submit an absentee ballot application if there's a runoff. So
Hmm.
those are some important dates to remember. May 24th being election day and March 7th being the first day that you can apply for an absentee ballot.
Yeah.
Also, in-person voting ends on May 2nd.
And also,
Well,
Mark, sorry, really quick, Diego, I'm so sorry. We both have viewers from all across the US. So are you taking these volunteers virtually as well?
Virtually, you can work
Okay.
virtually. You can phone. Uh, that's one of the best ways to help us out doing phone banking. You can do that virtually. We have training set up with our organizers. So, hey, please just go onto our website, www.marcusforgeorgia.com. Go to the volunteer tab and sign up to bank if you're outside of the state of Georgia. And if you're here in the district and you'd like to knock doors, we'd love to have you help us out there.
Amazing.
well, thank you so much. I really had a great time discussing these
Yeah.
important issues with you and Ariana. And I think you will be a great person to go up against Marjorie. And I hope you win.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
If there's anyone I have
Unfortunately,
faith in, it is you. I'm so sorry. I just want to close this out. And like I said, as a Muslim American Middle Eastern, 9/11 changed my life forever, the trajectory of my family's life, and people like Marjorie Taylor Greene put our lives in danger. It's kind of like 9/11 all over again. So I really just wanted to thank you and your push and your fight, and we will be following you closely. Diego and I are here along your whole entire race as well. So if you need anything, just please let us know.
Marhaba. Thank you.
Thank you.
You got a great evening. I am getting hard out, and thank you for having me. Hopefully, I will talk.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marcus.